What if I told you that power doesn't come from what you say, but from how your body moves before you even speak? Most people walk into a room and vanish, unnoticed, underestimated, ignored. But there are others, the ones who walk in and silence follows. Not because they shout, but because their presence demands respect. You've seen them, the ones who don't try to impress, yet everyone watches. What if I told you it's not luck or genetics? It's something far more powerful and completely trainable. Most people never realize this, but you're about to, because there are 3 silent body signals that instantly change how people see you. No acting, no faking, just simple, primal shifts. And once you know them, you'll never blend in again. Most people think confidence comes from what you say. They believe power is built through words, a sharp comeback, a persuasive argument, a strong opinion. That's why they rehearse speeches, overthink conversations, and chase approval like it's the finish line. But here's the truth: 99% of how people see you has nothing to do with your voice. It starts long before that. The second you walk into a room, before a single word leaves your mouth, people have already decided who you are, and most don't even realize it's happening. They're too busy trying to be liked, trying to sound smart, trying to fit in. But real power doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't beg to be seen. It arrives silently, and people feel it. Here's the mistake: people try to earn respect. But respect isn't earned. It's claimed, not with effort, but with presence. Most people think standing tall means puffing out your chest and forcing a smile. But that's just performance. Real presence isn't something you fake. It's something you become. It's not about looking powerful. It's about being someone who doesn't need to prove anything. Powerful people don't chase attention. They become someone worth noticing. Think about the last time you met someone truly magnetic, not because they talked the most or laughed the loudest, but because when they walked in, the air shifted, people turned, conversations slowed, eyes followed, not because they wanted it, because their energy made it happen. That's not charisma, that's identity. Most people think body language is about copying gestures. They watch videos, mimic poses, and practice power stances in front of mirrors. But that's surface-level junk food psychology. The real secret is this: your body doesn't follow your mind. Your mind follows your body. When you move like someone who belongs, you start to believe it. When you stop fidgeting, stop shrinking, stop apologizing for existing, your brain rewires itself. You stop chasing validation and start radiating self-worth. People think dominance comes from speaking louder. In reality, it comes from saying less and meaning more. Powerful people know this. You don't speak to be heard. You become someone worth hearing. Society teaches us to perform, to smile on cue, to nod at the right moments, to blend in. But real influence doesn't come from blending. It comes from standing apart. You don't need permission to take up space. You only need to stop asking for it. Because the moment you stop trying to impress, you start commanding respect. And that's when everything changes. Most people think silence is weakness. They believe that if you're not talking, you're not leading. That if you're not explaining yourself, you're hiding. But powerful people know the truth. Silence isn't absence. It's presence. It's in the pause before a sentence, the stillness between movements, the calm before action, and it speaks louder than words ever could. Powerful people don't rush to fill space. They let their energy settle. They don't feel the need to prove themselves. They know who they are, and that certainty radiates from them like heat from fire. This isn't about acting strong. This is about being strong. Presence doesn't come from how loud you are. It comes from how grounded you feel in your own body, from how you breathe, how you move, how you hold your gaze. These are the silent signals that tell the world I belong here. So how do you shift into that state? Here's a simple ritual. No fluff, no nonsense. Just 3 steps that will change how you walk into any room. Step 1, breathe like you own the moment. Before you enter a situation, a meeting, a conversation, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Not shallow gasps, deep ones. Let air fill your lungs completely, then exhale slowly. This grounds your nervous system. It tells your brain, I'm safe, I'm ready. Repeat this 3 times. Every time, feel your body relax and your mind sharpen. Step 29, walk like you have nowhere to go. Stop rushing. Powerful people don't hurry when they move. They walk with purpose, but never in panic. Slow your pace slightly. Feel each step. Own the space you occupy. Don't shrink. Don't look down. Keep your head high, your shoulders loose, and your chest open. Your body language should say, I'm not trying to impress. I already belong. Step 30, hold eye contact for 1 extra second. When you meet someone's eyes, don't look away quickly. Most people break contact after half a second, as if they're afraid of being seen. Hold it for 2 full seconds. Not staring, not aggressive, just steady. That tiny shift communicates confidence, control, authority. People notice, they always do. Do these 3 things every time before walking into a situation, and watch how people respond to you differently, because presence isn't something you fake. It's something you build, and once you feel it, you'll never go back. Most people spend their lives chasing validation. They walk into rooms hoping someone notices them, waiting for approval, scanning faces for signs that they belong. They adjust their posture to blend in. They lower their voice to avoid standing out. They smile too much, not because they're happy, but because they're afraid of being seen as too much. But there's another kind of person. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Jason. He wasn't the loudest in the room, didn't have the fanciest clothes, didn't drop names or brag about his achievements. But every time he walked into a meeting, something changed. It wasn't dramatic like a movie scene. No music swelled, no one turned and gasped, but the energy shifted. People sat up straighter. Conversations softened. The usual noise dimmed, like someone had turned down the volume on chaos. He didn't try to impress. He didn't chase attention. He simply arrived, and everyone felt it. Because Jason wasn't looking for approval, he already knew who he was. Now picture this: across the room stood another man. Let's call him Fred. He was sharp-dressed, well-spoken, always ready with a joke or a clever comment. He worked hard to be liked, smiled at the right moments, laughed at the right times. He made sure people remembered his name. But when Jason entered, Fred felt it: the shift, the silence, the way people leaned slightly toward the new presence in the room. Without even realizing it, Fred had spent years perfecting how he looked, how he sounded, how he came across. But none of it mattered in that moment, because no amount of rehearsed charm could match the raw power of someone who doesn't need to prove anything. Jason didn't speak for several minutes. He poured himself a glass of water, sat down, looked around the room, not searching for approval, just observing. And yet, people waited for him to speak. Why? Because real power isn't loud. It doesn't beg for space. It doesn't shout to be heard. Real power walks in silently and changes the air. That's the difference between chasing validation and radiating self-worth. One is desperate, the other is undeniable. You can teach someone how to dress better. You can coach them on what to say. You can polish their words until they shine. But presence, that comes from within. Jason didn't wake up powerful. He became it through years of silence, through moments where he chose to stand tall instead of shrink, through decisions to stop seeking permission and start owning his place in the world. And now, people feel him before they hear him. This is the secret most never learn. You don't become respected by demanding it. People think confidence is something you learn. You become it by being it. So ask yourself, are you chasing validation or building presence? Are you trying to be seen, or are you becoming someone worth noticing? Because the next time you walk into a room, you won't need anyone's permission to own your space. You'll already know you deserve it. You don't become powerful by doing more. You become powerful by being more. Like a skill, like driving a car or giving a presentation. But that's the lie we've been sold. Confidence isn't learned, it's claimed. Because power doesn't come from your actions. It comes from your identity. Think about that for a second. Who do you believe you are? If you walk into a room thinking, I hope they like me, then no amount of posture or breathing will change how you're seen, because deep down, you're still asking for permission. But if you walk in knowing you belong, without apology, without hesitation, everything changes. Your body moves differently, your voice settles, your silence becomes louder than words. That's not performance, that's identity. And here's the truth: you don't speak to be heard, you become someone worth hearing. Most people spend their lives chasing validation. They adjust their tone, smile too much, apologize before speaking. They twist themselves into knots trying to be liked, accepted, respected. But real power doesn't chase respect, it radiates it. Because when you shift your identity from someone who needs approval to someone who simply is, the world responds differently. You stop seeking attention, you start commanding it, not because you try harder, but because you try less and mean more. This isn't about pretending to be strong. This is about becoming someone who doesn't need to pretend. Powerful people don't rehearse what to say. They know that people don't hear your words. They feel who you are. So ask yourself, are you still waiting for someone to notice you? Are you still trying to prove your worth? Or are you ready to embody an identity where respect isn't earned, it's assumed? Because that's the final shift, not learning how to look powerful, not memorizing body language tricks, not copying others. It's about becoming someone who walks into a room and owns it without saying a word. Someone who doesn't need praise to feel whole. Someone who doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. Someone who knows that silence speaks louder than explanation, that presence matters more than performance. And once you cross that line, once you stop faking it and start becoming it, nothing stops you. Because now, you're not just showing up, you're showing who you are. And the world finally sees you, not for what you say, but for who you've become. You just unlocked something rare, something most people will never understand. This isn't just about body language. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need permission to take up space. Most will watch this and scroll on, but you felt it. The shift, the truth, the moment you realized you were never meant to blend in. If you're still here, it means you're ready for more. Not just knowledge, but transformation. Because now that you know what power really is, you can never go back. Subscribe. The old version of you is gone. Hit the bell, because the world needs to feel you now. Remember, most will scroll, only the powerful will stay. Choose your next move wisely, because from this moment on, you're not trying to be seen, you're becoming impossible to ignore.